Yeah, so first and foremost, the lady that was kind enough to renew my student membership has been mentoring me in my courses as well as CPA progression, as well as the resources that I now have access to through SCAPA, and all of the mentors that have been more than willing to help the accounting students in particular here at the Darla Moore School of Business. So she was a cost accountant for about, I want to say, well over 30 years. She and her husband are actually both accountants. They lived in Columbia. They took me to lunch last week, going over CPA requirements, what SCAPA is doing in terms of trying to lessen the required hours down to 120, as well as going over where I worked for my prior internship, as well as future experiences that I hope to gain in the fields of accounting. Absolutely. I think one of the most important things in business is understanding how a company stays profitable, and B, how people, individuals, and companies can retain their earnings and retain their income. So, understanding the tax aspect of financial transactions, how you can, save a little bit of money here and there, how to ensure that financial statements are free of material misstatement. These are very important things that every company needs and every company hopes is completely accurate. And the only way to ensure this is by having CPAs go through everything to make sure that everything is accurate and provide their recommendations. Yeah, I would say tax accounting is most interesting to me, and this is because it's almost like a game. So, trying to save as much money as possible for your clients, while obviously maintaining the standards of financial accounting and tax accounting, as well as going through people's financials, seeing how they can improve their spending and saving habits, how they can possibly lessen the brackets that they're in, all the thousands and thousands of tax incentives that are out there and tax credits. So finding that the approach that is different for each client is very interesting to me. Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that I bring to accounting, and there are many others out there that do this, is sort of a different approach. So, coming from someone like myself I've been trading in the financial markets for about 5 or 6 years now. So, understanding what it takes for an investor to understand a company's financials and how important the accuracy really is. As well as saving money and being frugal, where companies need to maintain a certain level of cash on hand, ties back into the point where I'm really interested in the tax aspect as well, where companies can save and retain as much money as possible. So I bring sort of a diverse approach to the way that I would interact with clients and also future investors based on financial statements. Yeah. First and foremost, I mean, strong affinity for numbers. You're going to be working with numbers day in and day out, but almost as much as you're working with numbers, you're working with concepts and understanding how these concepts tie into the overall goal for what you're trying to achieve. Now, if that's to maintain a certain level of, tolerable misstatement, you're going to have to dive into the different aspects of the audit. If you're looking to help your client drop down to a lower tax bracket, you're going to have to understand the implications of tax accounting. So, I would say working with numbers, being comfortable, sort of stepping out of your comfort zone. Accounting is something that takes a long time to learn and to practice. It's not only a science, but it's also an art, and I'm no master whatsoever, but from the 3 years that I've spent studying this every single day, I've learned that you have to be very meticulous and very relentless with your approach to understanding the field. Wow, that's a really good question. I would say, and I don't even know who this, man or woman would be, but the first the first person to start their own accounting practice. So whoever that person and whenever that occurred, I would want to ask them why they did that, and I would love them to coach me up on where they see the demand for accountants being used in the future. I mean, obviously, before accounting was created, when they started doing trading overseas to ensure that the products that were being traded between countries were actually accurate, there was really no way of ensuring that what people were saying were true and if investors' money was actually going to these merchants properly. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I would say whoever that person or group of people were that started the first accounting practice, I'd love to be coached up and hear their experiences.